Good morning. Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing fine. So, welcome to today's analysis that is in TP1 series, the Power of One series. So, with the Power of One series, we look to identify one high probability asset that we deal with in particular day. That's why we call it the Power of One series. And today, I'm going to focus with pound card. So, I want us to check pound card and identify an opportunity for this particular day. The reason as to why I've chosen pound card today, we can consider that yesterday we had monetary policy, the UK monetary policy from BOE, that is the Bank of England, and it was more of a dovish. It was more of a dovish statement. So if we can check, sorry, we can see from the votes the number of members who are voting for the rates to reduce. We had gone through this yesterday. Who are voting for the rates to reduce, it's increasing now to 2 from the previous one, which is 1. And the number of voters who voted for the rates to maintain at 5.25% is 7. So probably with time, we can see this number shifting according to how the economy is behaving. So this was more of dovish compared to what was expected. So it means there is now confidence in the UK economy that is in controlling the inflation, considering that they have been able to control the inflation all the way from the highs of around 11% to 3.2% as of May 2024. So we saw them maintain the rates at 5.25%. So everything was more of dovish. This one was more of neutral. The only thing that we expected more of a confirmation was from Governor Bailey, who was to give a statement. And as usual, everyone is tending to be cautious, and no one wants to give a signal that will be the first one to cut the rates. So we can see in UK, they should be cutting the rates, but they are being cautious, though we saw some positive statements. For example, in this, so let me zoom in. Perfect. So for example, in this article, we can see that, so this is Forex Factory. So we can see that basically Governor Bailey said that there is a possibility of cutting the rates in the coming quarters. So it means this year we expect BOE to cut the rates. So that is it. It's only that he didn't give a particular month. Of course, they have to be cautious enough. So from there, we also had a speech from Bank of Canada, Governor Macklin. So Macklin was also speaking, and we can see from the previous statements that he had. So if I go to this month, from the previous statements that he had, so he also said that okay, so you can see neither Powell nor Macron are in a big rush to cut the rates. Okay, so in Canada they have been able to control the inflation back to almost 2 point something percent to 8.8%, but they're also not in a hurry to cut the rates until they see the inflation is sustained at 2% levels. So that is what we are having on a pound card. Almost all the central banks, they are tending to be cautious, but sooner or later they'll have to cut their rates. So what we're expecting today, the reason as to why again I've chosen pound card. So at 3:30 we have employment data from Canada. So the previous one was negative 2.2k. There is a very high possibility that today's data will be more of positive from negative 2.2k to at least positive something. It's expected to be 20k. Then unemployment is expected, to increase from 6.1 to 6.2. So this is what we'll be monitoring. For a stronger card, I'll be looking for a positive data here, which I'm expecting on employment. And it will be better if I see the unemployment rate maintain at 6.1%. At that point, things will align on a positive direction. So compared to where we might have a positive data on employment and a negative data on unemployment, it might bring more of a mixed reaction in the market. So for me, I'm positive on the employment data at 330. That is my opinion. So, but remember to keep an eye on that at 330. You have to confirm after the data is being released. All right, so by the end of the day, what we try to do is to combine the technicals, to consider the technicals and the economic factors before we have a conclusion on a possible direction of the market. So with what we have here, without even going to an extreme historic data, we can all conclude that we have been having supply at this area, which is strong for some number of days. Actually, it's from July 2023. The price has not been unable. Again, August, it was unable to break. Same case in November, unable to break. And we saw repetition of the same in this month, or in this year, around March. So it means this zone tends to hold, it's tending to hold for some time, and we still work with it. So the only thing that we need to see is how do we have a reversal here, so that we can execute ourselves. And if we execute ourselves, where are we targeting? So the first step is that we have that resistance. The other thing I can see that before we got to this zone, the prices were forming a series of higher lows. So the market was forming a series of higher lows. Okay, you can see this one. We also have this one. That is what the market has been forming. And if you want to draw the trend line, it's now easier to connect those ones after you identify them. That is what we have. So we can conclude that before getting to this supply area, our market has been forming a series of higher lows. But then, after hitting this higher low, it didn't repeat the historic pattern or even the historic reaction, where historically, after hitting this trend line, it has been able to form a new high. But what happened this time? Failed to form a new high and actually did a reversal to form a new low. It formed a new low. So after forming this new low, we can see a breakout from that trend line, and we can see there is a retest. So already we can see a reversal, meaning we will be looking more on sells. Now getting to that area, for us to have this strong drop, a bearish momentum, we can conclude that this market had formed a double top. So this market formed a double top, and by now we understand that double top tends to bring that reversal in the market. We had that double top. So for us to complete this double top, we know we have those two tops. Afterwards, we have a retest, and then we have a continuation to the downside. So the retest mostly is supposed to happen on the neckline, retest and then continuation, but sometimes it can extend, okay, to the previous high, which formed basically the double top. And so with that, we will be having that supply area at that point. So after getting to that area, we can see that pound CAD has been having some sales, although the momentum has been low kidogo. So according to that market structure, then it might be right to conclude that there is a potential continuation, the downside probably to form a new low. So there is a potential movement to the downside to form a new low, where you can also connect now a number of lows, a number of lower lows to give you the lower trend line, and possibly, let me first do away with this for us to have a clean chart. So, and also, if possible, you can also connect the highs. So also with this trend line, we're done with it because we have already seen a breakout from it. There has already been a retest, so we no longer need it. So the neckline, we can see the retest didn't happen on the neckline. So the retest went ahead to happen on the previous high. So after doing that analysis, it's right for me to conclude that I have this pattern, more of a channel to the downside. Okay. And it seems this market has a behavior of forming double bottoms on the trend line, or even double tops before reversal. So what I'm expecting here, I'm expecting this market to at least get back to some of these highs, and then we can have a continuation to the downside. So because we are going to have employment data in the evening around 3:30, I would like to see pound CAD get to these levels, and after getting to these levels, then I'll be looking for potential sells back to the lower trend. Has been forming the double bottom, the double top. Okay, here we had a direct reversal, so I'm looking here for a more of a double top again. So another retest on this area to give me at least a good entry. Then I will be looking for some sells. So that is the trade that I'll be looking for today. That is on a daily time frame, but it can go to a lower time frame slightly, like a 4-hour time frame, to identify the precise entries. So you can see on a 4-hour time frame now it's clear. That trend line tends to be more clear, the upper one, and even the lower one tends to be even more clear. So on pound CAD, on a higher time frame, we have that resistance, and you can already see the bearish momentum in it, and you can see the kind of sales that we are having. So I'm looking for a retest around these prices where we have these wicks, around those prices, and then in the evening at 3:30 I'll be looking for those sales. Of course, you need to consider these wicks. Okay, for your TP1, for your TP2, you have to consider these wicks, but the bigger picture is for this market to get to the previous low or even to this trend line. So that is my high probability trade for today. Considering yesterday we had more of a dovish BOE, but governor was somehow cautious. He didn't give a direct statement, a direct dovish statement. But from the voting, the data that we have more of a dovish BOE, which tends to weaken the pound. So again, Canada, almost a similar picture, though for them they don't have a direct month on where possibly we might have the rate cuts. So technically speaking, this is what we have, and it's so clear. So these are the zones that we'll be looking to take sales, and the stop loss to be above this supply here. So the stop loss to be above this supply. Okay, and then the target to be on the lower side. So let's monitor that before 3:30 and after 3:30. Once we have the data, once the data confirms we have a positive data for Canada, it confirms the strength of the Canadian dollar, then that trade will be varied. If the data will be against or negative for the Canadian dollar, then the analysis will be nullified, or else it will be good to wait. So that is it. You have a nice day and have a profitable day ahead. Thank you. So kindly remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share.